Good morning, it's Jonathan Barratt with the morning debrief. It's Wednesday the 29th of September, only a couple of days to go for the close of September, and then we sort of trade into October. Quite a good night last night, very rocky in the European session, but we got a little bit of order back into the US session, particularly some very solid moves in copper and gold, complete turnaround and clear out in Europe reversed, and they just brought it up in America. Gold trading above through that 1300 and 1309, 010 I think is where it's currently trading at the moment. So quite positive there. Consumer confidence out in America, that slipped a little bit below medium forecast, but one number does not make a trend, and the Dow managed to etch out a small gain up 48 points. Okay, let's just have a look at a little bit of the data there. Just an overall as to what's happened, then we'll run through some of the trades. I guess the most important thing there is just having a look at what's happened. Let's just grab that. There we go. There we go. Just coming up. There we go. No, we don't want Brent crude. We want the equity markets. There we go. The Dow, as I mentioned, up 46, not 48, up 46 points, 10,858. The S&P was up 5 points. The Nasdaq was up 9. The top 50 was down 7, down 1.7. FTSE was up 5. CAC was down 3, and the DAX was down 2.8. Interesting to note, we did get quite a turnaround in the market there, purely on the back of what was happening with Allied Irish and some S&P downgrades, and that caused a bit of a concern immediately. But we certainly saw a little bit of kickback very quickly on what occurred, particularly on the euro. And you can see that. Just have a look at the chart here, and you can see that pretty much in the volatility in the currency markets. It generally spooked a lot of us, and when we looked at the way it traded, you can see that there's still good support, even though momentum indicators are well up there. Let's just have a look at it there. That blip down to 1274 is not correct, but as you can see, down to 1285, cleared quite a few people out, and then we saw this enormous rally through to 1308. So quite strong in that front. You can also see it in the euro that we had quite a move there in the euro as well, and that looks like they're set there for a trend over the next couple of days. Fell down here and then just straight back up again. So quite good. Looking at the dollar index and what's happened there, you can see that it has actually broken down and through those levels. As you can see, they're broken down to new lows, so that trend continues. The question is, how long will this debasing occur? And with that quantitative easing that we've got in America, that continuation, it's certainly weighing on the ability of that US dollar to do anything, but it still remains quite weak across the board. And as you can see here, even with that Aussie, you can see that it just continues to trade higher. And let's just look, as you can see, it's broken through some pretty significant stuff. A lot of importers and exporters, particularly those importers, are certainly looking at it. That gives you a little bit more perspective, and obviously that it's that high 97.16 or 98.15 is obviously the one we're looking at for the market to angle towards it. As to whether or not it breaks there is another area, but certainly looks quite strong indeed. Okay, now just a couple of things. Copper is something we've been talking about a lot to a lot of people, and as you can see there, we're getting very close to that breakthrough, that top side. And it's copper we've certainly said and mentioned quite a few times that looks like one of the cheaper ones for some time, so quite happy on that. We did get some inventory data out last night also that suggested that inventories remain under pressure. Okay, so I mentioned that crude pretty quiet and still stuck within a bit of a range. Nothing too exciting to talk about there, and I think that's best better look at it on the hourly basis there. There we go. Still within a bit of a range there, and as you can see, had a spike last night, but certainly back trading within the range. Okay, how does that affect the local market? 47.16, as we mentioned, it was up last night on the back of the positive closing on the Dow, and let's just check that. That sees it. There we go. You can just see it now. It looks like it's looking ready for that top to the top side, and wouldn't expect it would continue to look to see this trend continuing. As long as it stays above 46.50, I've got to be quite positive towards moves. Most of our systems are already long, so quite happy on that front. Let's just have a quick look at the Dow and just see if we can get some follow-through or continued follow-through. This is interesting because it did come under profit-taking but managed to etch out that gain. So there does seem to be some support for it, even though they want to try and take it down. So I think I've got to remain relatively positive towards that market. Righty-ho. Well, I think that's pretty much. Let's have a look at what we've got in terms of economic numbers tonight. And that's just coming up. Here we go. Quite a lot of data in Australia to keep an eye on. Building approvals will probably be the best one to keep an eye on. Vehicle production in Japan, very important. And the States, we've got all the GDP numbers, initial jobless claims, etc., etc., etc. And that should give us a little bit of an idea as to what happens. Some people are expecting, particularly on those, on that data, obviously to be not as positive. As first thought, continuing claims particularly expected to be off a little bit, and a few of the numbers a little bit weaker. But overall, the trend should remain pretty solid in terms of what we're looking for out of the States. So that's pretty much about it at the moment. Obviously, there's trends in that copper, which we're looking at. The US dollar and also gold continue to trend quite nicely. So I guess we've just got to stick to trends, your friend. Have a good day, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye for now.